Good morning, children of class 2. Welcome to this week's video on computers. Today, I will complete chapter 1, Computer and Electronic Device. Last week, I had taught about uses of computers and differences between computer and man. We learned that computers can be used to draw, to type words, to play games, to store things and other things. We learned that there are many differences between computer and man. A man makes mistakes, computer does not make mistakes. Humans are slow, computer is fast. A man can work on his own, but computer cannot work on its own. Man can get tired, but computer does not get tired. This and many more differences. Today, I will teach you three things: input, process, output, advantages of computers and disadvantages of computers. Now children, let us talk about input, process and output. What is input? What is process? And what is output? Is it something to do with computers or is it something to do with us? Yes, it has something to do with computers certainly, but input, process, output is something which happens all the time without us being really aware of it. I will show you what I mean. How much is 2 plus 2? We all know the answer. The answer is 4. But that is not the question. Just think for a while how you got this answer. First, you heard with your ears that you have to add two numbers, 2 and 2. Then your brain did the actual adding. It was not your ears that did the adding, it was your brain which did the adding, and it was the mouth which gave out the answer 4. So all three are important. You need the ears to hear, you need the brain to find the answer, and the mouth to say it out. Now let us put them in some nice terms. We say that 2 and 2, that is data or input. That numbers which are coming through your ears, that is data or input. What the brain is doing is calculating or processing. And what the mouth is giving out, that is the result or output. So that is input, process, output. The numbers came in through your ears, this was input. It went to the brain, the numbers were added, that was process done in the brain. It came out of the mouth, what came out of the mouth was your output. Now I'll show you one more example of input, process, output. Now here I have a calculator. Now we are going to make the calculator add two numbers, the same two numbers, 2 and 2. So to do that, I will do 2, click on 2. Oh, sorry, I clicked on 22. Okay, let it be 22. Then we click on the plus sign and 2 again. And now we will click on this equal to sign and we will get the answer 24. So here, what is the input? Input is 22 plus 2. What is the output? 24. How did we give the input? How did I give the input? I did it with the help of my mouse. With my mouse, I clicked on the numbers and I told the computer, I want to add 22 and 2. Computer did the calculating or processing with the help of the CPU and the output came on the screen. Now, you may be thinking, okay, input, output, process, Okay, you add, subtract, multiply, your brain adds. The computer also can be used for calculating. But you say, sir, we don't do all these things. All we do is we draw. We are small children. We like to draw. We draw using this program, Paint. So for us, where is their input, process, output? But that is where you're mistaken. Here also, input, process, output takes place. Now I'm going to draw a circle. How will I draw a circle? I will go to shapes. I will select the circle shape and I will draw a circle. Here, was there any input, process, output? Yes. As I moved the mouse, as I brought it here and I clicked here and I clicked on this, I gave a command to the computer. That computer, I am clicking on circle. Okay, now I am clicking on rectangle. So I have given a command to the computer. Computer, I am going to draw a rectangle. Now I have brought it here. Now I am going to drag. As I drag, I am giving a signal to the computer. Computer, draw this rectangle. Let's make it bigger. Okay, no, let's make it smaller. Alright, no, let's make it bigger. Let's take it higher. Let's make it narrow. Let's bring it down. All these signals, all these commands I am giving to the computer through the help of my mouse. This is all input. And when I finally let go of my mouse, we have got this rectangle. This is the output, which is appearing on the monitor. So as you can see, input, process and output takes place in Paint also. So here are some examples from your book. On the input side, you have the sharp pencil. Input is a blunt pencil, output is a sharp pencil, and the process of sharpening turns the input blunt pencil into a output sharp pencil. Now let us look at the example below that. Okay, we have some dirty clothes, which is the input, which will be put into the washing machine, which will clean it, and out will come the output. The clean clothes will come as the output. And now children, some nice definitions. So what is input? If you are asked to write in the exam, this is what you will write. Input are all the data and instructions entered into a computer. The devices of the computer used for input are called input devices. That's another definition. The devices of the computer, the parts of a computer which are used for input are called input devices. Our input devices are our ears, our eyes, our nose. For the computer, the two most common input devices are keyboard and mouse. Process. Working on the data is called processing. Processing is done by the CPU. So we got two pictures here which could be a bit confusing. The one on the left, that box-like thing, you know that as the CPU, right? But that is not the CPU. That is actually the CPU box. The real CPU can be found inside the CPU box, and its picture is given on the right hand side. This is the CPU and this is the CPU box. The result of the processing is called output. The devices of the computer, the parts of the computer that give us the output are called output devices. The two most common devices are, output devices are monitor and printer. Advantages of computers. Now, what are advantages? Advantages means good things. Good things about computers. What are the good things about computers which make us use computers? What good can we get if we use computers? So these I will discuss now in the next part of the video. Teaching. It helps teachers to get information on any topic on the internet as well as present it nicely. So as you know, on the internet, using software like Google, you can find information on anything. You can want to know about something, just go to Google and type that, you will get a lot of information. You want pictures of that thing or pictures of that person, you will get it. So not only teachers, students also can get a lot of information from the internet. Speed. A computer works very fast without getting tired. Unlike us human beings who cannot work very fast and who get tired very easily, I'll give you an example. Your report cards. Now, we did not just print out your report card, we printed out the report cards of your entire class, of the entire school. And do you know how much time was spent to print out the report cards of your class? Just your class? It took just 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, the computer had calculated and printed out the report card of your class. And there are 50 students. If your class teacher were to do the same thing with writing with a pen, he would take 10 minutes probably to do one report card and the whole day to do for the whole class. But the computer can print out the report card very fast within 10 minutes. So computers work very fast and they don't get tired. Entertainment. It is a good source of entertainment for the children. Yes, students can play games. Lots of games are there on the computer which students can play. Electronic presentation. Words and pictures can be presented in a computer in a beautiful way. Also, we can change them whenever we want to. All this data that I have put it in a presentation. See, this is a presentation. This is a presentation. Alright? And all these things have been done using a computer. Okay, now we come to calculation. A computer can do difficult sums without making any mistakes. Now, making mistakes is something which we all humans do. We don't do all the time, but sometimes we do make mistakes. Very simple calculation also we make mistakes. You make mistakes, I make mistakes, your class teacher ma'am makes mistakes, your parents make mistakes because we are human beings. But a computer makes how many mistakes? A computer makes no mistakes. It makes no mistakes while doing difficult or simple sums. Storage. It stores a large amount of information. Okay? It can store a large amount of information. A lot of things can be stored in the computer. Last year you studied about storage device, hard disk. Okay? Now, you know Mr. Vikas. Mr. Vikas's room there is one computer. That's where all the report cards are printed actually. Now in that computer the report cards are there. The report cards are there inside the computer. Now that computer knows the marks of not just one student but all the students of your class. Okay. So a computer can store, you can store only your marks. A computer can store the marks of the whole school. Multitasking. A computer can do many tasks at the same time. For example, you can listen to music while typing a letter on a computer. Automation. A computer can work in an automatic way. This way our work will have less mistakes. Now, a computer cannot work on its own. That we know. A computer cannot work on its own. You need a human being to run the computer. But once you give the command, the computer will not ask you for instructions all the time. Once you run the computer, once you start the computer, once you give the command, then it will start working without any further questions. Disadvantages of computers. Now, I won't say these are the bad things about computers. I would say these are the not so good things. Yes, there are certain things about computers which can't be called good. So, while that does not mean that because of this we should not use computers, no. Computers, there are too many advantages, there are too many good things because of which we use them. But at the same time, we must be aware of these disadvantages so we can take care while using them. So now in the next part of the video, I will be talking about the various disadvantages of using computers. Decisions. A computer works on the order of human beings as it cannot decide anything on its own. Okay? So your computer will not get started by itself. You have to put it on. You have to start the program and then the computer will work. The computer will not work on its own. But once it starts working, it will not ask you for instructions all the time. Health. Now this is a very important point, okay, and a very serious point. Working on the computer for a long time can affect the eyesight and the physical growth of children. So children, computers are a very good thing. Okay, they have made our work very easy and they have helped in many ways. They are fast, they don't make mistakes. Some of your parents, they cannot go to office, they could not go to office during the lockdown time. They worked from home with the help of the computer and the internet. But there is a disadvantage also. If you work for a long time, your eyesight will get spoiled. Also, as children, your physical growth will be affected. So children don't work for at the maximum more than 2 hours a day, and that too not at one time. 2 hours is also too much. 1 hour per day is enough. Even for adults, working for more than 4-5 hours a day on a computer is not good, and that too they are advised to take breaks in between. Virus attack. You may have heard of something called a virus. Right now the COVID is in the news. COVID is a virus which attacks our body and makes us sick and may kill us also. So in the same way, computers also can get viruses. And when they get viruses, they do not work properly. They become slow, files get deleted and other things. Okay, so when you use a computer, you run the risk of getting viruses. So there are certain safeguards that can be taken. One of them is to buy something called an antivirus program, which if in case your computer gets a virus, it will find it out and let you know. Costly. It is a costly device. The prices of computers have come down a lot. About 20 years ago, what the prices were, today they are much more affordable, but still they are costly. So you have to think twice before you buy a laptop or even a desktop or a smartphone. Cyber crime. Okay, this is a term which is becoming, unfortunately, more and more familiar with today's world. Okay, when the use of internet increases, cases of cyber crime will also increase. Okay, so this cyber crime means committing crimes by getting to know the password of your computer, by knowing your bank details and other things. So with that, children, I come to the end of this week's video on computers. Today I completed chapter 1, Computer and Electronic Device. Today I taught you about input, process, output, advantages of computers and disadvantages of computers. Next week there will be an online class in which I will start chapter 2, Role of Computers. So till then, tata and take care.